Evening, big up. Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Back with Get Amped. Big up to Nate, who's been holding the fort the last couple of weeks and such. But this is the fan calling show where you get to call in and discuss your team's weekly performance. Now, obviously, I'm not going to talk about Palace, but if you need to hear what I had to say regarding our performance against Everton, please check out the match reaction that was recorded earlier on today. So, let's bring in our first guest, who was involved in a 1-1 draw, late drama at Stamford Bridge. Anif, is a point that you'll take, surely.
I'd have taken a point before the game, and I'm definitely going to take it after that dreadful performance. Um, but I'll be honest with you, Manchester United with Marcus Rashford up top doesn't really scare me because I just think in front of goal he's not he's not accurate. He had a shot, and I know people will say he's very close to Kepa, but the good players tend to put them away, and I still think he is a player that's a winger more than a striker. But look, United played well. I'm not going to say they didn't. We've got our own issues, but I'm not going to take away from the fact that Manchester United were the better team. But being the better team does not win you games. You've got to punish. I wish they would have punished us because then it would have opened our eyes, but they didn't. And ultimately, Scott McTominay did us a favor, but we couldn't hold out. There were issues in the midfield. They had their best team out. We didn't. Our players were injured, but that's football, and we move.
That is. I'm going to ask you a few things because there's a lot that's been happening with your club at this moment in time. Let's start off with Kepa. He's like a new lease of life. He has. Thoughts on his current performances and what do you think Potter's done to rejuvenate his career?
I don't think Potter's done anything, Rich. I think since last season, a lot of Chelsea fans should have noticed that he was improving, and he's shown that he's better than Mendy in certain scenarios. With Mendy, if he hadn't done the stupid things like giving away 3 or 4 goals last season, Kepa wouldn't have been probably between the sticks. But Kepa for me is, I think he's matured. I think he's learned. Yes, it's taken time. I'm not gonna debate that, but for me, he's one of the best Premier League goalkeepers at the moment. I think he's doing phenomenally well. We have to be honest with if it wasn't for Kepa, most of those Chelsea games that are probably either drawn or lost, especially the ones that Chelsea won 5 in a row. We have to be honest about this. We've got a new manager. He's trying to find his feet. Our midfield is absent. We are the team to play right now because we're weak at the moment. We've never really had a free scoring forward line. But Kepa, you know what? He's probably been one of our best players as of late because he's kept us in games.
Yeah, he really has. He's been brilliant. He has been brilliant. I'm going to just a few comments before I talk more about the last 5 minutes of the game yesterday because so much happened and such. So, big up Hado, Coach's Corner, saying Southampton stopping little old Arsenal. I mean, you know what? That's football for you. Sometimes you win some, you lose some, and such. Big up James as well from AFCB, Fan TV, Bournemouth fan. He's got his stadium vlog versus West Ham. That's going to be prepared. So he must be going down to the game. Awesome. 9 p.m. for that, I believe, he says. Big up T. Hope you're doing well. Obviously, disappointing result in a sense, but great season they're having at the moment at Arsenal.
T, now, I'm here for you, mate. If you just remember, T, I'm here for you.
Now, for those who don't know, if you're familiar with Muncie Talks, it is rebranded. It's now called the Sports Capital and stuff. So make sure that if you haven't done so already, make sure you drop them a like, a follow, a subscribe. Check them out on all socials and stuff. But the Sports Capital is the new branding of Muncie Talks, and the logo looks fire, by the way. I like it and such. So yeah, as he says here, It's Munzie here, by the
Big up
way,
Mumsy.
just to make sure. So yeah, no, big up Munzie indeed. Big up Diggs from the Twitch side of things. So obviously, yes, the majority of the viewers will be on YouTube, but if you're here from Twitch, big up to you as well. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm gonna try and drop the link again. For some reason, the Twitch link didn't work. But if you want to come in and talk about whatever team you support, feel free. Feel free to hit the link and jump in and such. Now, I'm sure we can agree, Hanif, that United should have won that game. But let's delve into that last 5 minutes, because it kind of highlights the inconsistencies with officials, and also like just the whole aspect of like a game's never done until the final whistle's blown. You know that old saying. The penalty given, McTominay, as a referee, is that a penalty for you, or is that something that you kind of see?
100%. 100% it's a penalty. United fans didn't even argue. The ones I was with, they said clean pen. It's a clean. He knows what he's doing. I think United, if you look at their body language, the players knew as well. It's a clean pen. No one can dispute that. If someone disputes that, I need a very good explanation as to why you're disputing it. Because for me, he's let himself down, and that's because he just wasn't willing to maneuver himself into a better position.
With that in mind, why
Yeah,
do you think the one against Jesus wasn't given today?
Richard, the I've not. Well, it's Arsenal, isn't it? But no, I've yet to. I've not seen it yet. I have been made aware of it. I'll be honest with you, Rich. I've always said that the guys in the middle should not be in the TV box, because they seem to be the ones that are making they're making the incorrect calls. Like Chelsea had one against Spurs earlier this season where Cucurella's hair was pulled and it was 2-1, and then they scored as a result of the corner kick. Um, I'll be honest with you, Rich. It's really bad. There's no like with me when I'm out on Saturdays, like I will miss stuff, but I have no assistance. But these guys have the technology, and there was one today, right, against Newcastle, where they couldn't tell if if Sanchez was in an
If you
offside
flick, yeah, if you
position
flick the
from,
ball on, yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, Rich, right? You're telling me with the camera technology system that they have in play, you've got 20, I think it's 29 cameras in a stadium, plus you've got Sky Sports airing it. I'm sure you can use their technology as well. I'm telling you, Rich, for me, that didn't make any sense. They could have looked at it from different angles. They could have zoomed in on Sanchez. Common sense is not being applied. And for whatever reason, right, Spurs got a goal as a result of that. Now, I just think it's gonna get better, but I always said it was gonna take 5 years, and I'm not surprised as to where we are. We need independent officials, and we need to hear what they are saying to each other, because us fans need educating. A lot of fans don't know the rules of the game. We have to be honest about this. If you don't know the rules of the game and you're reading them now and again, then you're not really helping yourself. But if we listen to how they come to a decision, at least we can say, right, okay, he was wrong in saying that, but I can understand why he's come to that conclusion. But I just think until they don't do that, it will never go away. I think it's part of the game now, Rich. I think it's come back and it's made the game what it is. I think football is a game that needs controversy, and it adds to the entertainment. I think that's just how I see it. I don't think it's going to go away. But I just hope that we get to a level. I think you'll see in the World Cup, Rich. It'll be done really well. It seems to be
Yeah.
done really well in the international tournaments, whereas in the Premier League, we're still very young to this. We've decided, the Premier League have decided as a league not to speak, not to like look at what other sports are doing, how they go about it. Rugby is a great example, and see what issues they had and what issues football's got, and how to resolve those issues. Rich, the trialing they did wasn't big enough. That's for sure. They probably did about 20 games, and the standard of those games was not good enough. What they should have done is they should have done some Premier League games, because that would have been the standard that these officials were going in to officiate in. And then what can we learn from this? How can we get better? But I just think, you look at Syria, the referees there, they spend like 3 days together before a game just to like work with one another, get to, understand the game, share as much knowledge as you can. In the Premier League, you meet on the day. They've all got a WhatsApp group and they all WhatsApp each other. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? But I think ultimately you either need like a fan friendly forum to say, okay, if this happens in the box, that's a penalty kick. There has to be some clear guidelines as to, right, if someone's kicked in the penalty box, it's a penalty kick. If someone's hair's pulled, and these are clear rules anyway, but for some odd reason, our officials are missing them, and fans and players will be frustrated, but it's just part of the game now.
Fair enough. Whilst I go through the comments, I'm going to give you a chance to look at the Jesus one because, interesting enough, as much as Tariq agreed with McTominay's one being a pen, he says that Jesus one wasn't, which is very interesting because I thought it was. Tariq said he let go just in time. I don't think he did. I still feel as Jesus was entering the box, he's still holding on to him. I remember
You have to remember Tariq was a centre back himself, wasn't he?
The centre back alliance, yeah. Yeah, I still think it's a pen and such, but I'm willing to have another look at it and stuff. Still, images make it look worse than it was. If anything, it's a free kick. I think from what I've remembered them saying, they don't really care about where it started. Like if it carries on into the box and there's still contact, it's still a foul and such.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything was given at all. That's what makes it worse, Big up Roland, Pros Only Sports.
Big up,
Hope you're doing
Roland.
well, my guy. Stuff. Obviously NBA season's kicked off back this week, I believe it was. So he's been doing the late shows. I've seen the notification come up on my phone. I'm already like night. So big up Roland for being able to stream that middle of the night. Big up JC. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for obviously holding the fort with the Twitter space. I lost all audio.
Rich, I just want to say about, decisions this season. Arsenal can't really complain. I know it didn't go for them today, but they've had a few this season where it's fallen for them, and they've got those decisions as well. And all I'm saying is, yes, it's it might have been harsh today. I've not seen it yet, but the referees have given you guys decisions as well. So, you know, they will go for you and they'll go against you.
No, it is true. It is true. But they just need to sort it out because it's just the inconsistency is what's driving fans mad the most, to be honest. That's that. Right. Big up Bobby K. So big up lads. Ask Tariq about all the Spurs love he was shelling out earlier. Oh. Tariq. Might have to hold a little court session for that one. Sort of technical difficulties on Twitter and more spaces are needed. Yes, we will definitely be holding more spaces and stuff. They're really fun to do. I didn't realize how fun they were to do. As long as you can hear everything. And yes, we're not going to discuss this. We held a big L and such. Okay. Last bit on obviously on Chelsea. Casemiro's goal. Hey James, hope you well. Casemiro's goal. Now,
James.
Hanif, in all honesty, before obviously the goal line technology deemed it a goal, I said, what an incredible save from Kepa. But obviously it's just trickled over the line. I know you said at the start that you're happy to have the point, but with obviously there being like 30 seconds to go, are you disappointed you didn't steal all three?
Um, yes, but that's where we are as a team. We have to be honest. We look very fragile at the moment. We're a broken team. We've got a new manager. We're on um, a new journey with a young manager. We don't have someone who's a former champion. It's different when you've got someone who's won something. Even Tuchel had that kind of bravado about him. Whereas now we've got a guy that's he's willing to change it up when he's seeing it wrong. Like I remember last game, first half was a work. He made three subs at half time. And I'm like, you know what? Potter's not afraid to make changes in the games. And I'm all for that because at the end of the day, he's doing the best he can. Now, if you don't have your best, it's not it is an excuse, but Rich, we didn't have our best team out. We had Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Jorginho in midfield. That says it all. And that's all we had. Kovacic is still coming back from injury. There's no Kante. And yeah, we were struggling. I don't like the formation that we play. I really don't. I want three in the middle and I want Mason Mount to drop in midfield. I don't want him to play in that front three. I understand why he plays in that front three, but we needed Pulisic on the pitch yesterday earlier, and these performances are not have not been great over the last 4 or 5 games. That's just me being honest. The performance haven't been really good. It's just that Kepa's kept us in a lot of games. Defensively, we've been poor. It's not been great because if a team's getting shots up defensively, it's not working. So we've been fortunate in some games, and United will be happy with the performance, but they know full well that they deserved more. But
Yeah,
ultimately, you've got to take your chances as well. Football's not about whether you played well or not. It's about precision and taking your chances. Unfortunately, we've all had those games where we were the better team, but we never got anything from them. Arsenal's a great example today. They had plenty of chances. If you don't take them, it doesn't matter how many chances you had. But more often than
yeah.
not, you think playing good football will get you the win 70 to 80% of the time. I just think we've got to once we get our players back, and we've just got to hope that we can still be in some kind of position to get Champions League and maybe go for a cup run. But Chelsea, it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea don't finish Champions League this year through the league anyway. We just don't look we don't look like a team that can defend well and attack well.
Fair dues, fair dues. James, welcome. Obviously, you say you've got West Ham tomorrow, and you've said that you're going to win 2-1
Yeah.
and such. What's your thoughts? And type it in, and then obviously I'll read it out. What's your thoughts on the job that Gary O'Neill is doing at this moment? Yeah, how do you feel Gary O'Neill's doing? And I'll just address a few comments as we go on. Did DC? Oh my gosh! Listen, yeah, that he might have just lost his World Cup spot for that boy after that one. That was mad. That was mad and stuff. Big up now. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Roland here saying we missed those big chances in the first half. Yeah, Anthony's one was huge. I guess Rashford's one was a decent save from Kepa. Yes, you know what, it could have been out of sight. You know, Roland, just chucking the chat. What is going on with Sancho, by the way? He seems
Rich,
well off
Rich, he
it.
came too early. Rich, he came too early to the Premier League. And that's it. That's one of the things. And I think also, I don't know how he makes that team. It's a joke how Ilanga's not in that team or somebody else. I don't know. And you know what, right? Can someone explain to me what Bruno did in that team? Honestly, like, just explain to me, like, what did he do? Because I'll be honest with you, I think once Ten Hag gets his players, I think Bruno's there to be replaced. I didn't think much of him, but that's But you know what? Maybe they can enlighten me.
Oh, absolutely. Um, so James has said that he feels that Gary O'Neill's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Um, and he reckons what Chris Wilder will be the next Bournemouth manager. You think?
Yeah.
All right, all right. So you what? So you don't think Gary O'Neill will get it until the end of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. It'll be interesting to see, but yeah, they're doing really really well. Roland here says, "I'll take the point, but we should have put those away." Um, Roland, my brother, it's hard to keep up a high level of performance than United played at after 4 games in 10 days. Oh, okay, which is a fair point. There has been a lot of fixtures lately. A lot of fixtures. I told man already, if you're making 150 grand a week after tax, we don't care about football anymore. I'll be in Miami every weekend, RE Sancho. Ross, you think he's lost the passion for the game already? He's still what, 20, 23?
He's very yeah, some are 22, 20. Rich is young.
Yeah. You know what? It's a shout though, you know. I think the money in the game has the passion from the young players. I think it's going. Like look at like Grealish. He got his big money move and he's settled. He's kind of settled. It's a shame, man. I think money's ruined the game. And obviously with the more experienced heads, look at Ozil when he got paid, Aubameyang, Salah. They've got the big money contracts and the performances have dipped. But it is what it is. Let's move on. I know we don't have any Villa fans here, but Steven Gerrard got sacked, and rightfully so. Now the bounce back today was mad. They gave a decent Brentford side an absolute battering. Now, personally, I would say that they stopped playing for Gerrard. Now, I don't advocate for players stop playing for their manager and stuff, but I can tell Gerrard was just not that guy. Some of the things he came out with in the press, the way he ostracized Mings. What was the last comment? I think it was before the Chelsea game. He said, "Oh, we should be expecting to go there and be walked all over and stuff like that." You know, what's your thoughts on the Gerrard departure, Hanif? And is the result today a clear indication that they'll stop playing for him?
I think Steven Gerrard has received a lot more time than he should have. I think he's liked by many in the media. I think they were giving him a bit of a free ride at Aston Villa, but the results are telling, aren't they? Um, Obviously, there was that issue with Tyrone Mings. Now, we all know, Rich, right? If you're running a team, or if I'm running a team, whatever issues you have with squad players, you want to keep to yourself. You don't leak anything out to the media. You don't hang anyone out to dry. You don't act like Jose Mourinho. But he did. He sent a message out about Tyrone Mings, and I think that didn't sit well with not only Tyrone Mings but probably other players. Now, Steven Gerrard was a phenomenal player, but man management is completely different. We've also seen this at the likes of Bournemouth, where it might have, Scotty Parker was probably more results orientated than falling out with the players. But it seems as if, a caretaker manager sometimes for the short term is a good idea, especially with, like if you're winning 4-0 today, you just stick with this for a while just to see
Yeah.
how long it lasts, because maybe you had the wrong guy in charge. Because Steven Gerrard, for me, is not proven enough compared to Frank Lampard. Frank had it easier because he was at Chelsea, but we saw what he could do with a young side. And Frank is proving a lot of people wrong. He is the better manager, in my opinion, at the
Yeah,
moment.
I
He
agree.
has, he is slowly progressing Everton. If you watched I think it was Everton's goals, the way they were passing the ball around, it looked really good with some of those players.
To
Look at
to
the
be fair,
transfers.
Hanif, like a Warsaw side could have passed the ball around us yesterday. We were that bad.
No, I know that. But what I'm trying to say to you is I think Gerard should have gone a lot sooner.
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
he was given a lot of time, and if you look at the results, we have to remember, obviously maybe not in the Premier League either, but when you look into Aston Villa's history, it's a massive club. But they're not. It's not a joke. They are a huge club. The chairman has invested. They've got some really good players, and they want to be challenging or knocking on the European places because they've made significant investment into their team. Now, how will they do that? Where will they go now? I don't know. I think maybe is just to find some stability in the short term, and then next season they try and cement their place in the top seven, top eight again. But in terms of Steven Gerrard, what I would say is this: I think there's something there, but I think he needs to go to a club that will give him time, preferably not in the Premier League. Um, I don't think the Premier League is right. I didn't think it was right for Frank Lampard neither, but Chelsea were in a different situation then. Now you've got to go and make your name in the lower leagues because yes, he did well at Rangers. Then he should have gone to the Championship or something just to see if he had what it takes, and then come back up and go to a club that'll give you time. Because we still don't know about Gerard. Because if you're given the biggest team or one of the biggest teams in a country, it doesn't really say much about you. And if you look at Frank Lampard, he's gone to Everton, which is a challenge in itself, and they're not the biggest team in England, let alone the biggest team in Liverpool. And he seems to have bought well, and the players have bought into what he's doing. And look at what he's done with Iwobi. He looks a completely
Mm.
different player under Frank Lampard. So I think Gerard needs more time. I think you know what needs to happen, Rich, is what Arteta did. Go find a great manager of recent times and go work with him. I don't know who Gerard's worked with. Klopp is there. Go be his number two. Go and see what Klopp is doing.
That's a shot,
One
actually.
season. Do you know what I mean? Be an apprentice. You'll be at home as well and see what my man is doing. See how he does it. It's not all about tactics. It's about man management. You've got to have those players that are willing to go through a wall for you. And we know who those players are. And I'm sure you're aware of those players who are those types of players at Crystal Palace that will just work for you. They might not be the quality players of Zaha, but you can rely on them 70 to 80% of the time to do a job for me. And I think that's what he needs more than anything else. I think bit of a break and then just be a number two somewhere because I don't know what he did to get to warrant the Rangers job. That's what I would say about Steven Gerrard.
No, fair point, fair point. And it's funny enough, I even dropped my Lampard agenda because I just thought Gerald was getting away with murder. So rightfully sat, and I guess it's all the
It's
best
just
for them.
another slip, Rich. Just another slip.
Monzi, give us your perspective on your club. Obviously, great performance,
I
disappointing
was going to
result.
come on here and slate Arsenal for a bit. Can't I do that?
Oh, go ahead. Feel free.
Just the Arsenal fans are. Oh man, I've got them biting. I don't know if you know. What's it? Tony Claude Gunner. He thinks they're going to win the league. Oh man, I messaged him. I've still not got no response. Arsenal will not win the league until they have more players. I'm not even saying that United are going to win the league, yeah. But I was on Daddy and the Dons, and he reckons Chelsea are going to finish above United. After that performance, Chelsea are not going to finish above Man United. They just haven't got the depth. They're playing a Birmingham up front, and he was awful. Do you know what I mean? United should have hammered them about 3 or 4-0. To be fair, because we're all over them. I'm not saying we're the finished article, but we're doing a lot better than we have done in previous seasons. But yeah, Arsenal, they're just are they going to bottle it now, or are they going to leave it till last minute like they usually do? Do you know what I mean? It's just Jay just never turned up today, and it showed. Do you know what I mean?
It is. You're right about Arsenal squad depth. I think. I mean, Tariq would even admit, like from the start of the season, he was like, "Oh, starting 11 decent, but after that, it's a bit ropey. It's a bit ropey." Do you feel that you have a similar issue with United. Not so much that you don't have the depth, but when you actually look at who's available on your bench, you're just like Elanga,
we do a bit,
Fred.
but like Fred was blooming Ballon d'Or Fred last game. Do you know what I mean? Against Spurs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or Fred. He wasn't great against Chelsea, granted, and Eriksen was poor. But I think we have, because if Casemiro's out, then we will struggle. But we are
really good.
we are similar to them, but we're nowhere near like Arsenal have been building. Do you know what I mean? You'd have thought Arteta's had 3 seasons. This is Ten Hag's first season. This is what you expect.
Yeah.
And then he gets his players in. Ronaldo, well, I'll help pack his bags. You can't refuse.
I was going to ask about that.
For Man United, you cannot refuse. The amount of people out there would bite his arm off to come on for 10 minutes for Man United. You cannot not refuse. I don't care who you are. Whatever Roy Keane says.
He's bigger than the club, though, isn't he, Munzi?
Yeah, that's the problem. Ferguson said it ages ago to Beckham. No one's bigger than the club. And Beckham was out. And Ronaldo needs to go out. He needs to go. And Ten Hag can use him. End of the day, if all these Ronaldo fanboys want to say, yeah, but they're not playing him, we've played him. There's a stat going out. We've played every game we've played. We've not. I think we've. When he started, we've we've won, but he's not scored. And like 0.2 or something with points we've got, something like that. And then with him, we've won most of the games. Do you know what I mean? Everton, he come on and we won, but he's not been good enough. He don't want to be there. He wanted to leave. Let him go. I don't know why I can't just pay him up and get someone else in.
Personally, like seeing him walk off,
I'll play.
Was an absolute violation. Like, because it's not the first time he's walked off early. I believe there was a game where he was in the stands apparently or something, and he walked off.
But they reckon that all of them walked off in a friendly against Rayo Vallecano, and he warned them. He said, "You do that again, you're going to get." And of course, he done it again. That's why he's got fined and dropped. So yeah, but once again, it's all got to be about Ronaldo, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like when Beckham was there. It's all got to be about Beckham. It's all got to be about Ronaldo. Ten Hag don't seem to have players like that. Like Ajax, he didn't have no big stars. Do you know what I mean? He made them big stars, but he didn't have big stars. And hopefully they'll sort it out. I want him gone now, but I don't think he will go. I think wait till end of the season, then he'll go. No one wants him. That's the problem.
Yeah. Just quickly on Rafael Varane. Do you have to cut your ties with him? Because it looks like he's going to be missing the World Cup now. But he seems to play...
They reckon it's only 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. So he might have a chance.
They've just come through. He ain't got a hamstring. It's going to be 3 weeks. But to be fair, he injured it. He actually injured it. So he fell awkward. So, I know what you mean, though. With that previous injuries, he was getting injured. But, yeah, he's starting to get, starting to play better now. But when Lindelof slotted in, there was no difference, to be fair. So that's good for that. But it's just if Martinez goes, then yeah, we're fucked because we're going to be with Harry Maguire, aren't we? So, and everyone knows I love Harry Maguire.
You do. What player have you got on your wall now? Then, now that you've taken the Ronaldo poster down,
I ain't got one yet. I'm going to get a Martinez one, I think. I don't know yet. I put one up there.
Don't curse him. Don't curse him, Muggsy. Let him at least have one good season.
I had a FA Cup. I went to not the last one. The one where Ronaldo scored when we played Millwall. I went to that and I got the ticket and it's all framed in that. But that fell off the wall, so I won't be putting that back off. So I'm just going to, I think it's a cursed spot. I'm going to leave it spare.
Fair enough. So yeah, so we've covered... Let's talk Liverpool for a bit. Because, I mean, I was looking at the table, I was like, all right, we've not had a great start. And we're Palace. We're only 3 points behind Liverpool, which shows how bad they're doing. They've obviously mentioned the Klopp 7-year syndrome. James, type in the chat. Do you think Klopp leaves at the end of this season? We'll start with you, Munzi. What's your thoughts on Klopp and Liverpool? And he's gone. James thinks Klopp doesn't go. You think he's going to stay? Hanif?
No, Rich, what are you saying? What are you? This guy's one of the best managers in the league. I just think, Rich, look, Klopp set them up well. If they can't score, right, you can't always blame the manager. The players have got to put the ball in the back of the net. They had loads of opportunities to do so, but unfortunately, if you don't take your chances, this is what happens. And
Yeah,
Van Dijk had a couple of chances. Salah had some chances. They hit the post. It was just one of those days, and that day was meant to be for Forest. It's just one of those results.
yeah,
That's why you have to be very careful when you go to these away teams, especially near the bottom, because it's gonna be a dogfight.
yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. My question won't pose at the fact that he will get sacked. I was thinking more so, would he leave? Because I know he's had so much issues. He's been trying to rebuild that midfield for like 4 or 5 years, and obviously there's financial like issues with FSG and disagreements, and they're not backing him or they are. It's been crazy. Once he obviously had to leave, he said that Klopp will stay. James believes he'll stay as well. I don't think he'll get sacked, but the question is, would he walk?
He should. The problem is, Rich, if Liverpool don't buy at least two midfielders next season, they're gonna suffer. But also, we have to look at where the money's been spent this year. I personally think they didn't need Darwin Nunes. I think they've overspent,
Mm,
or well, not overspent, but I think they could have spent that money elsewhere
yeah,
in the midfield where they needed it. Because we have to remember, I think they got Diaz in January, so that
yeah,
told me that either Salah or Mane were leaving. Mane's gone. You've got Diaz, Jota, Salah, Bobby Firmino, who's still class. Um, so the problem is it's the training that these lot are doing. He's killing them in training because Rich, look at the injury list. It's mad. And
it's crazy. Yeah,
Liverpool need a reboot because they've got these youngsters playing, Rich, but they need 2 or 3 years. They need 2 or 3 years. And you're aware of this more than anyone else. You've got young players who've got talent, but they need time. You can't grow flowers in a day. Takes time. You've got to water them, nurture them, and so on. So Liverpool need a lot of time. But if they can buy two good midfielders, they don't need to be world class. Two good midfielders, they should be better, but they need strength in depth as well. Because Thiago is a bit like Varane; he can't stay fit all season. Fabinho is solid. Henderson's on his last legs. Miller comes in and does a job. He can only do what he can do. He's almost 40 years old, but that's where Liverpool are, a lack of investment. But we always knew that uh, Liverpool owners were not the type to overspend. But I do believe that Klopp deserves backing. I do believe he should be given 200 million to spend because he's worked on a tight budget, provided so much success, and they've only got one Premier League title to show for it. And he's been pushing City. He's the only one that's been pushing City
mm,
with his team. So will they do it? I don't think they will. Is it a good enough excuse to walk away? I think so, but I think if he did, I think the fans would kick off.
absolutely. And it'll be very difficult. I mean, Liverpool are a big enough club, but it'll be very difficult to find someone who matches his caliber of playing style as well. Going forward. Big up Nippon. He suggests Jude Bellingham and Nicolo Barella, two very good players actually. But I think it highlights how many they do need at least two midfielders. And whilst I obviously guys make sure to drop NS Sports TV as a sub on YouTube, as well as Sports Capital, Tweet Talks, Pros Only Sports. Follow 532 Pod on Instagram, and make sure you give AFC. Wait, have I got that correct?
Yeah.
It is AFCB, so I was like, right? AFCB Football TV, a sub on YouTube as well and stuff. Yes, you are 13th spot. You're just beneath us. with the same amount of points, by the way, to be fair. Like Bournemouth have been doing amazing. They've turned it around.
Rich,
Like,
Rich, you know this Jude Bellingham, right? Everyone's going on about him. I'm
he's
telling you
quality.
right now. But
Go
so
on.
was Jadon Sancho. So was Jadon Sancho. All I'm saying is this: they're gonna need a season to adjust,
Yeah.
and we don't know what level he's gonna be at. Plus, injuries. We know what tends to happen with Klopp's players. There's Liverpool need maybe 3 or 4 midfielders because they're gonna have to. Henderson might be sold to bring reinforcements in as well. I just think they're looking to play a different way, but they need to buy players of Wijnaldum's stature, people who can stay injury free and just keep running.
Just last Liverpool, would you say that's one of Klopp's biggest mistakes, getting rid of him?
I think the mistake happened the season before as well. You know when they sold Lallana, I think they should have kept him for another year. And I think once they let Lallana go, I can't remember when Thiago came. I don't know if he came that season or the season after, but you're letting a top player go who can come and do a job for you because you've kept Milner around. They should have gone all out to keep Lallana there because it would have made it a lot easier for that Liverpool midfield. These guys don't have to play every game. However, they provide the experience to the young players coming up and to show them the way of how they need to be and how they need to perform for Liverpool. And just I think and look at the players. Look, Oxlade Chamberlain is still there, but he hardly plays. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So yeah, I would say so because the thing is, Rich, no one could tell me that Wijnaldum didn't deserve a pay rise after what he did.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
just because he didn't get the goals and the assists, but he plays every single game, and now they've
what he
learned the
offered to
hard way.
Liverpool was
Yeah,
invaluable.
100%.
100%. Cool. Moving on from Liverpool. James has messaged in the chat that he's going to Chelsea Bournemouth on Boxing Day. So that should be fun. I hope you have a great time.
James, be kind to us. Be kind, please, James. Be kind. Don't overdo it.
Let's go on to Conte. Because the football he's playing at the moment is dreadful.
Away from home it is, yeah.
But even today, like, Newcastle were all over them. Apart from, I think, like a 10-minute spell to start the game. But Newcastle dominated.
Well, the problem is, Rich, I think they're still having their best season in 11 games under Conte.
Yeah.
So even though he's not playing good football, they're still in the top 5 or 4, wherever they are. But Rich, you knew what you were going to get with him.
Yeah, that's true.
You make your bed, then that's what happens, doesn't it? And a lot of people said to me, Conte does play good football if you give him a solid team. He doesn't have a solid team at Spurs. When you've got Oliver Skip in your midfield, who I think is going to be a very good player in the future, he's just not there yet. When you got Skippy, and I don't know if Winky is still there. When you got these guys,
actually. Yeah, I don't know.
I think he might have been sold, or he might be playing somewhere else. I just don't think the Spurs team is that good.
Only for a second. I jump on and say this to my face.
This guy was this guy, this guy. I bet he's smiling. He's absolutely beaming.
He must be. No, to be honest, they were brilliant yesterday. We couldn't lace a glove on them, and deservedly got battered. Yeah, so we got to take our L and just move on to the next one and such. But yeah, listen to the Vieira slander, please. Thank you. Obviously, like with Conte, I feel, for me personally, I just feel like he's so similar to Tuchel in a sense, like he's so stuck in one formation, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't really venture out of that 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, however you want to look at it. which is obviously not helping because they don't really have a focal point. Yes, Harry Kane is the man up top, but he tends to drop deep a lot. You know, so you've got not really anyone running in behind. Son is kind of in and out of form. You know, it's just an odd one with Tottenham at the moment. And I'm sure like Tottenham fans I know Tottenham fans, they're not happy with how they're playing, but I guess they won't complain with the points, obviously. And
Yeah, that's unfortunately what it is, Rich. You know, because of their director of football, he's Italian as well. So he knows what Conte is all about because I think they've worked together at Juventus.
yeah,
Now, they've brought in a lot of players into Spurs this summer transfer. I think might have got 7 players or so over the summer. Now, the system and the style is going to be questioned when the football is awful, but they can still turn around and say, listen, look at the start we've made, highest points total in 11, 12 games.
yeah,
Under Pochettino, you played fantastic football, but you never really got that many points. If this carries on up until like game 20 or 25, then Conte might be in trouble. But the thing is, they want to offer him a new contract. And I personally think the Juventus are going through a bit of a tough time at the moment. I don't know if Allegri's still there or not, but he'll probably walk into that job if they come calling. So Conte's got options because Spurs really want to extend his contract. But if they want good football, you need to look elsewhere because you're not going to get that under this guy. But what you will get, come the end of the season, he'll be competing for top 4. And you have to remember, Spurs must not forget, before Conte came, you were nowhere near the top 4. By the end of last season, you were in the top 4. So it is going to be a long season. Obviously, me being a Chelsea fan, I've seen the pros and cons to him. If he had a good team, he'd be doing well. He doesn't have a good team. Now, when you look at their centre backs, they're dreadful. They're absolutely dreadful. That's why he plays 3.
yeah. That's a
You know,
good
if
point.
Dyer makes the England team over, your centre back, Gay, and over Smalling and Tomori, that's just criminal. The guy is shocking. But if you play a 3 and you have 2 centre backs covering him, he's all right.
Yeah,
And ultimately,
no, good point.
that's the system that they're playing. But I think it comes down to the players as well. You know, I'm sure he's not telling them to just not play. If the players have to apply that attitude because
Yeah,
he's a manager of attitude. So I personally think I don't think the Spurs team is that good. I do believe they need to change their system, but I think defensively he knows that they're not. He knows that they're pretty poor. That's why you play
absolutely.
3 at the back.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's address a few more comments, and then what we'll do is we'll wrap up with. Obviously, I know it's not the World Cup stage yet, but we'll think about top 4 predictions and teams to get relegated, basically. Which it's going to be tough because a lot of teams can be dragged and stuff. But Matt Smith says that Everton were class yesterday. They were, but the game was in the balance at 1-0. To be fair, yeah, but if we had got anything out of that game, it would have been undeserved. Personally, I mean, we would have taken a point and run with it. But you beating us 3-0 is pretty much what the scoreline should have been, you know, and could have been more. Personally, Coleman has in his back pocket. Though Salah has been dreadful, by the way, in the last month. Last couple of games. He's not been at it. Richardson's a big miss for Spurs. Yeah, he's missing the World Cup as well, which is a shame. What else has he got here? Tarkovsky for centre. You know what? There are so many, and I would say players that are not household names that Southgate has not given a chance, in my personal opinion. You know, but well, you never know. There could be an outside shout because there's not that many centre backs for England. There's not that many. And big up Luca. Hope you're doing well. Obviously, disappointing result today, but still top of the table. Great form. I think you've lost 1 game all season, haven't you? so, and unbeaten in 9 in all competitions or something along those lines. So should be definitely proud of what your team's doing. Obviously, you just got to keep your teams fit. Cool. James, type in who you think is going to be top 4 at the end of the season and the 3 teams that are getting relegated. Hanif, who's your top 4?
I'm going to stick with what I said. I don't think Chelsea will make top 4 because we don't really have Kante and Kobe fit at the same time. I think it'll be City. Yeah, it's pretty tough after this. I'm going City. I'll go Liverpool.
Second?
Yeah, I think they'll come back.
Wow.
This is where it's pretty tough. I'll go Arsenal and I'll go United. I think United. I think Newcastle and United will be going for 4 or 5. I think I've seen enough from Newcastle to suggest that, you know what, if they keep they're playing some really good stuff, and you know what, they weren't afraid to show it today at Newcastle, and I really like that. Eddie Howe's really impressed me. I didn't rate him highly enough before, but now, you know what, I give it to him. I think they're playing some magnificent stuff. I take my words back about Eddie Howe.
He's been brilliant, by the way. Yes, James has gotten down for, and I don't think it's this particular order, but he's saying the 4 teams that will be in the top 4 will be Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, and Arsenal and stuff. But I don't think he's saying Liverpool's first. So, is Man City going to finish first, James? And then Liverpool? Then Arsenal? And then Tottenham? Okay, so that's his order. All right. I'm going to go City, Arsenal, United, Chelsea.
Are you basing that off what you're seeing at the moment?
Yeah, the injury records, I think it's going to kill Chelsea's hopes. That's what
You
I'm
mean
going on.
Liverpool's? Did you put Liverpool in top 4?
No. I think they'll finish 5th.
I think the one team that looks like it can cause a bit of an issue is Newcastle.
It's Newcastle, yeah.
They're the outsiders to because no one's there's no pressure on Eddie Howe. There's no expectation.
Yeah, it's a good point. Matt saying City, Arsenal, Chelsea, United. Yeah. Who are the 3 to go down though? Now this is
There's too many, Rich. Oh my God, you're talking so many teams.
That's what I'm saying. And even with us being 12, we can still get dragged. It's so mad how I think we're
Rich, you're 4 points above relegation.
Above relegation zone, yeah. But we're also 4 points from 6th.
I would say it's all the way from 10th to 20th. Any one of those teams could get relegated from 10th to 20th. But if you go by you've scored
Fulham are 7th with 18 points. We're 5 points of Fulham and we've got a game in hand. That's how close it is, so close, because Fulham with 18 are 9 points above Leeds. It's so congested.
I think if we go by experience, Everton, Palace, Villa, Southampton, Leicester, and West Ham should stay up. And the one thing that we're not talking about this at the moment, but Rich, if West Ham are there after 20 games and they're still hovering above that relegation,
oh my gosh, I forgot that's where they were.
Questions have got to be asked, because this season they brought in a lot of players.
Yeah,
he's brought in some quality players, but the thing is this: when you buy in quality and if it replaces hard work, that quality better work hard as well, and it's going to take time for those players to adjust. He's bought really good players, but if you look at the start, you know, they should be on about 15 points. Realistically,
Yeah.
you know, this is just me being real. About 14, 15, they should be where Brentford are, but they're not.
Mm.
And look at Leicester. Their last 5 games, Rich, they've lost 1, drawn 1, won 3.
Yeah,
And that's how mad it is.
they've climbed up like in silence. you
Yeah.
know. James says Leeds, Wolves, and Nottingham Forest to go down. Matt says here Forest, Leeds, and then it's a toss up between Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth. I'm saying Forest, Wolves. I mean, if Wolves get Nuno back, then at least it's someone that they know.
Is that
And
is that what's being said?
That's what's rumored.
Bloody hell, can you imagine?
Yeah. So yeah, you know what? For me, I think the current bottom 3, Leeds, Wolves, and Nottingham Forest, at this moment, I think will be the 3. But going up to even Brighton, and I'll put even Fulham in that, because if they hit a bad run of form, they can get sucked back. Like it could be any one of them. It could be any one of those teams, you know. So
I think you always look at it at game 25. I think game 25 is the indicator to tell you, like, okay, so we've got 14 games to go. We're way halfway through, halfway into the season, and that's when, you know, because say for example in 5 games time, if Nottingham Forest have a good run, like similar to Leicester's, they're like clear, aren't they? And
yeah,
it's so tight, with Leeds having a game in hand, and today Leeds were 2-0 in front, and then Fulham came back. I know Jesse Marsh is under a lot of pressure,
he is.
but big up Solo.
Big up, Salah.
It's too tight, mate. It's too tight. It's too tight to call.
It is. Guys, let's wrap it up there, man. A very insightful discussion. Premier League's crazy this year, man. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Matt saying Everton need to kick on and get points on the board. Fulham, Leicester, Bournemouth next before Walker. Oh, actually, yeah. That's a decent run of games. See, for us, Palace, we've got Southampton at home, I think West Ham away, and then Forest away. And then we have Bournemouth, I think, as well, coming up. So we need to get a few more wins on the board. But that relegation pile-up looks nuts. I'm big up my brother, Alton, and stuff. It's good to see you back playing football as well, my bro. It's good to see you playing again, man, after a long, lengthy layoff as well. So, yeah. Listen, we'll keep it as that. Arsenal still top of the table. Doing bits, to be fair. Chelsea just trickling along as well nicely. Bournemouth are doing all right. And yeah, Matt James is a Bournemouth fan, yeah. As such, he's probably going to tell you he doesn't apologize for saying that you'll go down, James. So, but other than that, guys, can obviously continue to do the usual: like, share, subscribe. Bournemouth Palace 31st December. Oh, that's nearly worse before New Year's. Yeah, that might be a sticky one for us as well, by the way. We might have problems down at your ground there, James. To be honest, we might have problems. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Enjoy your evening, people. And we out.